Hey Google, you really broke my heart. I can't believe it. You're not the first company that buys an innovative startup and then later on kills it. God knows my employer has done the same thing. But I've never been as hard hit with the BS you pulled with Nest Security. Let me explain. Nest was one of the most innovative companies when it came to home security. They got later acquired by Google and have been ever since then slowly integrated, not really, but kind of, into the Google ecosystem. The problem usually that happens with these kind of acquisition is Google thought it was a great part to get into home security, then turns out it's too small of a market for overall revenue if you look at Google as a big company, so they start deprioritizing what they're doing with Nest. So much so that they now created this deal, I guess, with ADT Security to help customers move from Nest Security to ADT. They continue doing their cameras and doorbells and things like that. The worst of it all is that ADT is not even close to comparable with what Nest did, or even close to as innovative. And Google, that usually should do a great job at user experiences, now forces me to use several apps to do what before I could do just from that one Nest app. And why they couldn't prioritize this to make it a better user experience is a mystery to me. So let me give you a few examples. This is the original Nest camera. I can manage them completely from the Nest app. Google gives me the live feed in the Google Home app when they started the integration, so I can see what is happening in the here and right now, but I cannot access the video history because technically I pay up to 10 days in the Google Cloud of storing the video feed, but I can only do that from the Nest app. But here's the interesting part. They then went ahead and built their own cameras because, Google, right? So the new Nest cameras, there can be battery operated, which is, a nice effect because here as an example, I have it in my yard. I'm pointing to the PEC entrance, and this one is available in the Google Home app, but not in the Nest app. So now that I have a mix of these home security cameras, some I have to go for the video history into the Google Home app, but not for the original Nest camera. For those, I still need the Nest app. Kind of ridiculous, right? But it is what it is. Then I have these nice Yale made these special locks together with Nest that you can easily issue codes for your family members when they visit or other guests, so you don't have to give them your code. You can also limit when a code can go in and so on. But here's the bummer. The whole management of these locks is only doable with the Nest app. Again, I can't use the Google Home app, even though they say everything migrates over there, still have to use the Nest app. If I switch to ADT, I can't use this lock at all, and they're still selling the lock as of the time me filming this video, which is June 2023. And if you use ADT Security app, you can't do anything with this lock. You cannot unlock it, you cannot remote lock it, you can't issue new codes. It basically makes a almost $300 lock useless. Then we have those smoke and when you carbon detector, when you have the fireplace going and becomes a poisonous level. This device also useless outside of the Nest app. So even if I forget security for a moment and I would just use these devices, the Yale Nest locks that are still being sold, these are still being sold. Google is forcing me to use two different apps for anything in the Google Nest ecosystem, which is heartbreaking. Then we have these sensors here. Let me turn off the light in the hallway. This is the sensor, obviously, if somebody opens the door. If active, you can push this button to basically if you want to open it while the alarm is activated. It's also motion light. If you come at night walking, this will turn on. These have actually a similar mechanism that I guess it's not dark enough right now in here, but they would have the same thing that the ring starts lighting when you come at night. But what I love about these sensors is this is motion and when the door opens. There's like three things in one. It's a motion light, it's a door sensor, and a motion sensor all in that one set. And when Google informed me that they discontinued the security products, they said I can either have a $200 gift card for the Google store, which again, every single camera costs more than $200 and I have a lot more cameras than just 2. Or I can move over to ADT to the self-install plan, get 1 year free off the plan, and I get a basic starter package, which of course doesn't have enough sensors than you would need in your house. But let's see how that package looks like. So from the 2-in-1 sensors, AT&T wants me to install this massive motion sensor. Let's say the width of almost 4 fingers. And this separate torque sensors versus that all-in-one smooth package that we have from Nest. Again, I show you just in comparison in this room. Here's the sensor all-in-one. Motion and torque sensor. And from this, and this is several years apart since I bought the Nest system. I bought the Nest system in 2018. They want me to go with this big of a motion sensor separately installed in the room and a door sensor. This to me seems like a bad joke. And then when we look at the base station that you're supposed to have central in your house, this is the difference of that. Look at this. This is AT&T home station and this is the Nest. What's in here? This is like a mini Xbox. I mean, why is this so much bigger than this? It's very clearly, ADT is far, far behind when it comes to innovation in the home security front. When it comes to their devices, it's ridiculous the difference, it doesn't even compare. For Google having the arrogance to think that this is somehow a match to all the investments we've made over the year, again, just heartbreaking. Because usually, and I mentioned Google is not the first one that pulls something like this off, but usually it's an app. Here it's hardware. We're talking, I think in our home, about 10 cameras. Each camera costs, let's say, $300. Replacing them with a new system. And where do you go? ADT, definitely not an alternative, so I did some research. Ring, I don't trust Ring with privacy. Too many rumors that they give out information to law enforcement without even informing the users of their camera. Doesn't make for anything good. And what else do we have? Simply Safe, well, but they don't have cameras or they don't have this. So either way, wherever I go from Nest, there is not a single alternative. If you know one, please let me know in the comments. The best I have been able to come up with so far is Kangaroo or something. They have at least also the sensors in one sensor, but they also don't have cameras. They don't have the door locks. So regardless what I decide in the next 12 months, or now it's 10 months to do, I'm screwed. I will live with it that I have to use multiple apps to manage of what I have been able to do in one app, unless I'm willing to sacrifice privacy, unless I'm willing to sacrifice thousands of dollars and replace my full system. So frustrating. But again, if you have any good ideas of what I could do, please leave it in the comments. I would love to get some good ideas for alternatives. I hope you found this entertaining at least. If so, consider giving a thumbs up and consider subscribing so you stay up to date with my next video. With that, D. Dave Kurt out.